Dave McHan here again from ABKT. We wanted to spend some time today going over our Roper line of knives. Our Roper line of knives are our vintage knives made for the cowboy and all of us. They're made from strong, durable materials, and they have a western flair for the cowboy and the rancher. These line of knives are very collectible, and they are made from very sturdy materials. Let's get started and look at some of them. Our first series we want to look at is our Chaparral series. Our Chaparral series are 3.5 inch Stockmans and 3.5 inch trappers. They have bone handles, stainless steel bolsters, and the bone is jigged. So we have them in brown, black, red, and green. And the difference that we make in our Roper knives is in our Chaparral series and in all our Roper knives is they're made from 1065 carbon steel. The 1065 carbon steel has a Rockwell hardness of 58 to 60. And the reason we wanted to make them out of carbon steel and 1065 carbon steel is because that's a very vintage way of making a knife. And the blade steel is much better blade steel for everyday use. Stainless steel knives are hard to sharpen and they don't hold an edge well once they get dull. But a carbon steel knife will be easier to sharpen and has better edge retention and edge wearability. So in this knife there's going to be a everyday use knife. I always say that if you're going to keep a knife in your pocket and use it randomly, get you a stainless steel bladed knife. If you're going to use it every day, then get you a carbon steel knife. It's easy to put the edge back on it, and you wipe it down when you get done with oil, or you put a patina on it. And if you go to our website, you'll see how to do that. Then this knife will perform for you much better than a stainless steel knife. So our Chaparral series is the 3.5 inch Stockmans and trappers. And then we come over to our carbon series, which is the bigger style. So you have a brown jig bone in carbon steel, and you also have a pitted orange bone. And these knives are larger. They're a 4-inch Stockman and a 4 1/8 inch trapper, which is your standard trapper size in full length. They have nickel silver bolsters with a rope stamp on them with a western flair. If you can see on the bottom, they have brass liners in them, and they are made from 1065 carbon steel. So they're made with the walk and talk that you should have on a traditional spring back knife, and they're made with the bone for a very classic and vintage look. The brown we call our tobacco Stockman and trapper, and this pitted one down here we call our pit viper because it's got pitting into the bone instead of jigging. So that's our carbon steel series. Probably our most popular series in the traditional line is the Laredo series, which is the wood and stag handle, carbon steel bladed, stainless steel bolster, Stockman and trapper. This Stockman is 4-inch closed length, where the trapper is 4 1/8 inch closed length. And customers really like the stag and the wood combination in the zebra wood and the genuine stag, and it gives it a great look and a great flair, and they perform very well. So that's our most popular series in the Laredo series. Now we take a step up from that in our Roper line, and we wanted to make knives that are even more collectible and more seen by the customer. So we come over here to our Rough Stock series. And our Rough Stock series is a Stockman and trapper, 4-inch Stockman, 4 1/8 inch trapper, and they're made from G10 handles, but they have a saw cut in them for better gripping. So a very vintage saw cut handle, which you don't see much anymore. And the blades are D2 steel, which is a higher grade of high carbon steel. And they have a stonewash finish on them, so they're kind of black patinaed to them. So they have black blades and black handles, stainless steel bolsters, and they are made from D2 steel, which you don't see in traditional knives much. So our Rough Stock is D2 with black G10 saw cut handles and stonewash blades. And then we took another step up for the real collector in our Tombstone series. And basically we have the red jig bone and the stainless steel bolsters, but the difference in this one is that it's got Damascus blades. This Damascus has 57 layers on the front and back side. It is sandwich Damascus, so there's a core in it of 9CR13, and the reason we put the core in there so that your edge always on your knife is the same steel. If you have different steels and you try to sharpen it, it takes different types of sharpening to get certain different types of steel sharp. So we make sure that the edge of the blade is all one steel in 9CR13. So this Tombstone Trapper and Stockman is a Damascus version that we have in the Stockman and Trapper. And then lastly in the Stockman and Trapper line that we want to talk about is our double action lockback, which is a unique design for us. And this is your 4 1/8 inch trapper. It's bone in red bone or brown bone with the jigging on it. It's got nickel silver bolsters with the rope stamp. It's got the brass liners to it. But the difference in this one is that it has a locking blade. The blades lock out just like a lockback. And so they're much safer and much easier to use when you want to put force on it. And you just push the lock back to get them to close. So we have the double action lockback trappers in the red bone and the brown bone in the trapper style. And then the next one we want to talk about is our Pecos series. And you'll see those here in a 3 1/2 inch Stockman, a 3 1/2 inch trapper. Again, carbon steel blades in the cream yellow Delrin, which is a popular color for the Southwest area. They really like the cream color. And one of our more popular items is the cream colored carbon steel bladed liner lock with the pocket clip. So you get a little traditional style and traditional looking, but also have the modern liner lock to it and a pocket clip so you can carry it in your pocket with a pocket clip. And that is the Pecos liner lock and the Pecos Stockman and the Pecos Trapper. And that's our more traditional, more vintage looking products in the Roper line. And then we also have some everyday carry folders in the Roper line that have a Western flair to them as well. And what I want to talk about first is our Outlaw series. And we have a modern folder here, 4 1/2 inch closed length, D2 blade steel with serrations, you know, so that you can have a rope cutting serrations when you need it. But it is a liner lock with ball bearings. It's got a little trigger on the back, and all you have to do is pull it back, and it opens up, and with a pocket clip. And that's the Outlaw. And then we have an Outlaw Junior, which is a little bit smaller. It's 4 inch closed length. Again, the ball bearing system with the pocket clip on the back, but it has the nice zebra wood handles to give it a real rich look. And then to go along with that, we have a small fixed blade, which is 8 inches in overall length. Again, the zebra wood handle and the brass pins to give it a very classic look, but has a swedge on top and enough blade to it that you can get in there and skin with it. And that's called the Deadwood Skinner. And then and that's our Outlaw series in the wood handles. And then if you look here on the table, we have what we'll call our Deputy series and our Maverick. Our Deputy is just a stainless steel knife. And what we wanted to do with this Deputy was make a very thin profile knife, as thin as we can make it, in a frame lock, but still have the ball bearing pivot system in it so it's easy to open and stands up to a lot of opening and closings with the ball bearings. So it's very thin profile, very easy to carry in your pocket, tip down carry in the pocket clip, and where you don't even notice you're carrying it. So it's very, very light. And we took that same pattern and we broke it down into a Damascus blade as well. We call this the Maverick. Again, very thin ball bearing knife, but with the 57 layer Damascus with the 9CR13 core, and that's the Maverick. And then we also want to talk about a fixed blade knife that we designed specially for the guys in the Southwest, and that's called the Roper Razor. And the reason we designed this is because we made a cut-off tip on it, made a blunt end, and made it where it was easy to use. And they use this for several different reasons in the Southwest. It is G10 handles, 8CR13 MOV stainless steel, a genuine black leather sheath to carry with, but they made this for castrating, so you don't have a tip on it and cut where you don't want to. Made it for skinny, so you can do the same thing, and also made it to where farriers can scrape hooves with it, so it doesn't have a point on it, and it's easier to control where you cut. So, and that's the Roper Razor in a fixed blade. And the last three we want to talk about is probably three of our newer items that are most popular, and this is what we call our Roper Tumbleweed. It is a 3.5-inch lock back, brass liners, and it's got 1065 carbon steel blades, and it's a all white bone handle, and very classic and very old pattern, very old style. And a lot of people buy this and engrave on the white bone in the handle different types of company logos or Western designs. This knife is what we call our Tumbleweed lockback in just a small carry knife. And then the last thing we want to talk about is our Buffalo series, which is new for us. And what we wanted to do was make a classic looking folder with nickel silver bolsters, Coca-Cola wood handles. It's got a pocket clip on it, so carry it in your pocket, but it's reversible. You can put it on the left side or the right side. And most of these classic looks like this are lockback designs. And what we wanted to do is make it look classic, but have modern features to it. So what we've done is added a ball bearing pivot system to the pivot area so that it's easy to open when you pull it out. So very smooth action, D2 blade steel in a clip point blade, and satin finish, but a liner lock that has ball bearing in it for easy opening. And we have this in a 4-inch closed length, and we have this in a 4.5-inch closed length in a larger style. Again, with the ball bearing and the nickel silver bolster and the Coca-Cola wood and pocket clips, reversible pocket clips. So on our Roper line, we wanted to take care of the classic cowboy western vintage type of knife. Again, everything comes with a lifetime manufacturing warranty. If any manufacturing issues are on it, we'll replace it for free. Just give us a call or find us on the website. And again, we wanted to make this knives for the little cowboy in all of us, because we all like to have that little western fair knives. Thank you, and I appreciate your time.